Welcome to SAT TV's news. I am Larry Larrock, your presenter. In our top stories, historic canter meeting takes place in Dominica. St. Lucia health authorities warned of possible dengue epidemic. Uncertainty after North Korea announces execution of leader's uncle. And in sports, Chris Gayle and Kieran Pollard will not play against New Zealand. Details of these will follow. SAT Telecommunications Limited is in the process of reorganizing our channels. In this endeavor, some channels will be off temporary and new ones will be introduced. SAT Telecommunications Limited is pleased to inform you of a number of new channels. We have just added for your viewing pleasure Lifetime Movie Channel, Lifetime Real Women, Discovery Civilization, Discovery Science, Discovery Turbo, and many other new ones to come. We are sure that you will enjoy the new programming, which will enhance your viewing pleasure and provide you with many more channels. SAT Telecoms thanks you for your continuous support and understanding throughout this initiative, and we will keep you informed as the changes occur. Welcome back. Adding to a discussion on the legalization of marijuana hosted by the Dominica State College's Journalism Club earlier this week, Inspector of Police John Carbon made comments against the use of the drug. Inspector Carbon noted that marijuana is a drug that affects the way you think and the way the body operates.
Reducing marijuana use is essential in improving the nation's health, education, and productivity. If we were to look around, we can see the effects of persons who take marijuana.
The inspector, who is in charge of the drug unit of the Dominica Police Force, says research has shown that legalizing marijuana for medicinal use or general purposes, increased use of the drug has been noted, leading to the increased rates in addiction of the drug among the youth and adults. This leads him to believe that legalizing marijuana is not a smart public health or safety strategy for the nation. He added, there is much distinction from a drug user and an eloquent person of society.
It is said that it is a gateway to hard drugs. You will try the marijuana, you will continue, and I need something. You will say to yourself, I need something harder to keep me up. You will try something else, and you become paro. Whether it is from marijuana, you are graduated to a harder drug, you become that's problems for the nation.
Mr. Carbon concluded that the entire Western Hemisphere had recognized that there is a need to assist countries in the fight against illicit drugs, including marijuana. In more news, Vice President of the National Youth Council of Dominica, NYCD, Ms. Nadej Roach, says she is delighted with her appointment as an executive member of the CRYC, Caribbean Regional Youth Council. She said she will be representing Dominica in a positive way once the opportunity arises.
I am the board member for communication and information. So basically my work is to market CRYC in terms of branding, and also to ensure that whatever leaves the CRYC office is accurate and nothing will be misinterpreted by what we see. We want our information to be as clear as possible. So that is basically what I'm there for.
Ms. Rose said during a Caribbean Youth Leaders Summit which took place in St. Lucia, members of the CRYC discussed strategic and marketing plans and hosted a stakeholders meeting for persons who will work with the CRYC to ensure its sustainability.
Why is it that governments sit down and discuss policies concerning young people without knowing exactly what are the wants and the needs of young people? If you don't know what I want, how can you represent me? So that is where we're saying when it comes to policy making and advocating for the rights of young people themselves should be involved. Because when we were discussing things like that in St. Lucia, we recognize that yes, it's true, we might have our culture might be slightly different from island to island. However, the concerns were generally the same. So how can 2-3 generations before us be debating on topics that are relevant to us?
Some of the goals of the CRYC are that of building a youth council network where the CRYC will be able to interact with other groups to exchange best practices.
Another thing I'm trying to do now is to ensure that our secretariat is in place. The other thing too is ensure that, like I told you, that policies concerning young people are addressed to young people before they hit the books.
Ms. Roach says it is very important for all young persons to be a part of a youth group, one that builds confidence and are involved in positive activities. In other stories, the youth of Dominica are being advised to ensure that they take advantage of the computer literacy courses being offered by the Youth Development Division. This wise advice came from Merquan Paquette, one of the computer literacy course instructors with the Youth Development Division.
We know that ICT is one that is growing, it's a growing sector. So of course you need computer knowledge, you need to know how to use the computer and to be professional at it. So we advise young people to come on board next year. Hopefully in January or February we should be starting the next module. Be as early as even in December to come and sign up for the computer literacy course.
Some of the students currently enrolled in the course, which will end later this month, have been working on 9 modules and learning programs including Microsoft Office applications, Internet Explorer, and emailing. Ms. Paquette noted their students have been very enthusiastic about the course. They were also taught social skills to enhance their interaction in public, in addition to business etiquette for the workplace. Participant in the course, Ms. Marva Jove says she enrolled to improve her computer literacy skills.
From this program, I've learned a lot. We start with the concept of information technology, and then there was Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Access, Microsoft Word, Microsoft Publisher, and Microsoft PowerPoint. And also on Wednesdays, there are various sessions such as the Office Etiquette session, the Social Skills session, the Business Awareness session, and then HFL.
Ms. Gervais said this is a program she would advise other young persons to enroll into, as this is not just a computer literacy course, but helps mold them as young individuals preparing for the workforce. She added her career of choice is in the field of business law. In more stories, the Caribbean Association of National Training Agencies, CANTA, hosted its 22nd annual general meeting at the Fort Young Hotel on Thursday, December 12. The meeting focused on technical vocational education (TVET) and its role in improving the country's overall workforce while connecting its creativity. Ms. Elth Joseph, chair of CANTA, noted 6 years ago at a CANTA meeting, there was only 3 countries represented: Jamaica, Barbados, and Trinidad and Tobago. She pointed out that these countries, however, had a stigma when skills development was mentioned.
And when we mention the word TVET, or Technical Vocational Education and Training, there was this sense of a poor second cousin to traditional academia. There was this stigma attached to skills development. It was where those who were either dysfunctional or who could not find themselves in any particular occupational area or field, this is where they sought to go.
Ms. Joseph said, as far as CARICOM was concerned, the regional TVET strategy was meant to play a critical role in the transformation of the workforce, but there was resistance and doubt in the minds of persons. They questioned whether or not the strategy was the correct one.
Some 20 years ago, when the regional TVET strategy was established, here we are now, where we have revisited the regional TVET strategy. We have held national and regional consultations. We have spoken to students, we have spoken to instructors, we have spoken to industry.
In revising the strategy, TVET has now been aligned as it ought to be when it was first established, as a regional strategy for workforce development and economic competitiveness. Honorable Peter Sheja, Minister for Education and Human Resource Development, said, "We all have been recipients of this form of education from primary school, when we were taught to harness various forms of creativity. This, he feels, has been lost in the haste of modern technological advancements."
We seem to have lost much of the sense of creativity and innovation in favor of a more academic approach to education. And with that, we have inherited a greater dependence on imported goods and technologies, with a corresponding decline of originality and uniqueness.
The minister believes the key is finding and striking the right balance between embracing modern development and harnessing them in such a manner as to empower our own native skills, craftsmanship, and creativity. Following the need for coordination and rationalization of TVET and a move to establish the CARICOM Single Market and Economy (CSME), the Caribbean Association of National Training Agencies was established. In more news, the government of the People's Republic of China (PRC), in an effort to further aid in the development of Dominica, has committed to build homes for those affected by Tropical Storm Ophelia in 2012. This announcement was made by Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit during a farewell ceremony on the evening of Thursday, December 12 for the Chinese ambassador to Dominica, His Excellency Wang Zonglai, whose term in Dominica has come to an end.
After the storm which affected the western coast of Dominica, His Excellency was very forthcoming with his willingness to advocate on our behalf in getting assistance. As a matter of fact, the government of China has committed to providing new homes to every home that was affected as a result of Ophelia a couple years ago. And also the construction of a new bridge in Layu Park area that was affected also. And all of this will, as a result of the advocacy and the manifestations made by His Excellency Zhang Lai on behalf of the government and people of Dominica.
Mr. Skerrit added, Dominica will remain committed to the One China policy.
The diplomatic relations between China and Dominica, and of course China and any country, is premised on the adherence to the One China policy. That is to say that there is but one China. The PRC is the recognized China of the world. And therefore, Dominica continues to respect that. Dominica continues to recognize that. And as I've said on many occasions, including at the United Nations, that Dominica will do everything possible to assist with the peaceful reunification of the whole of China.
In 2014, Dominica will host a year of activities in celebration of the 10th anniversary of the relationship shared with the PRC. His Excellency Wang Zonglai will also participate in these celebrations, as there will be activities in China as well. In other stories, Honorable Julius Timothy has confirmed his participation at the next general election as the Dominica Labour Party's candidate for the Roseau North constituency. Many question whether or not he would run for another election after suffering a stroke earlier this year and had to be airlifted abroad for immediate medical attention.
I have made it very clear, as of today, I am the candidate for the Labour Party for Roseau North constituency in the next general election. At the constituency level, every month we have our constituency association meeting, we have our executive meeting, and it is very clear that Julius Timothy is contesting for the Labour Party in Roseau North for the next general elections.
Mr. Timothy said the power lies in the constituents, who in his opinion have no confidence in anyone else to represent the constituency but him. He added he is very confident that he will win his seat at the next general election.
Our stronghold area of goodwill was not included. Mondaniel was not included. So I mean the Labour Party is solid in Roseau North.
At the 2009 general elections, Mr. Timothy won his seat over UWP's candidate, Mr. Daniel Luge, who was considered his main contender at the time. Cannabis was the highlight of yet another discussion centered on the controversy of drugs. Attorney at law Henry Shillingford, who is an active advocate for the legalization of such drugs as marijuana and cannabis, hosted the debate.
Google the word cannabis and you'll get around 21,900,000 hits. There's news and information articles, forum discussions, advice websites, statistics, videos and photographs, and even games. There's so much about cannabis on the internet, but what actually is it?
What exactly is cannabis was the question posed by the discussion. The fact is now that many persons are unaware of what cannabis really is, even with so much information available for research. It is hoped that in the new year several discussions on the topic, both for medical and industrial purposes, will be hosted. The videos seen by those present underline the various uses of hemp other than that of a drug. It spoke of its uses through food, desserts, construction, and making paper, among others. This debate was part of an effort to support the use of drugs as a medicinal and financial alternative. In more news, official evening wear photos of the Miss Dominica 2014 Carnival Queen contestants were released on Thursday, December 12, 2013. The photos shot by leading photography and marketing company 365 MMP are now on the official Miss Dominica Carnival Queen Facebook page. The images were shot at the brand new Atlantic View Resort and Spa located in the northeastern village of Ansdime. Each contestant was photographed in swimwear, casual wear, and evening wear. However, the evening wear photos were released first. The other pictures of the contestants will be released weekly. 7 young ladies will participate in the pageant. They are Joelle Brong of Point Michel, Shalina Samuel of Stock Farm, Octavia Prosper of Laplin or Dalis, Roy Laura of Portsmouth, Donella Riviere of Roseau, Francine Barron of Granby, and Torrance Dorset of Marigot. The Miss Dominica Carnival Queen pageant will take place on February 20th, 2014. In other stories, Ansel Prince, head coordinator of Dominica Can Dance, has assured Dominicans that they will experience amazing performances on Saturday, December 14th, 2013 for the grand finals of Dominica Can Dance. The idea had been conceptualized over the past 2 years and was designed to offer Dominicans an opportunity to promote and celebrate the art of dance, as well as to direct their energies towards something positive.
Well, so far I would say that the competition has been developing great. As we know, in every phase of competition, the dancers themselves develop in their skill. In the first quarter, we call it the quali quarters, we ask the judges to comment on every style of dance which is showcased to them. And at that time, the dancers themselves go home and work on the parts which the judges ask them to work on. In the second phase of competition, the semi-finals, the judges judge them based on what they were asked to work on and the dance which is performed.
The competition is an open one comprising of 4 categories of dance, including Latin, hip-hop, creative contemporary, and our local traditional dances.
And on the finals, we choose our winners with the first place winner, second place winner, and third place winners. Every dancer that night will be provided with a participation plaque.
Prince added that the show has been receiving a lot of interest from the public. Winners of the competition will receive a grand prize of $5,000 and handsets from Lime. Second place winners will receive $1,500 and handsets from Lime, while the third place winner will receive $500. Participants will also receive trophies and other items. The finalists for the 2013 Dominica Can Dance show are Turned Up, The Inspiration, Nibs, The Suspects, Links Master, DNTL, and The Bouncers. They will all participate in 2 rounds of the competition. And in court news, for the next 4 months, Philbert Moranci of Bellevue Chauffeur will be a state prison inmate, having pled guilty to battery. The repeat offender, who stood before the court just 2 months ago, appeared before Magistrate Candia George, who handed down the sentence. Moranci's fate comes as a result of an incident which occurred on 27 November 2013 at a bar in Bellevue Chauffeur. He had entered the bar and asked the male complainant for a drink. The man said no. Moranci then opened discussion before going over to the man, grabbing onto his groin and squeezing it. The incident was reported to the police and Moranci was eventually arrested. He told the police officers that at the time he was under the influence of alcohol and is sorry for his actions. During his mitigation plea, he told the court that he had apologized to the complainant. The complainant who was present in court said he had not suffered any physical pain. However, the experience was not a pleasant one. Initially, Moranci was fined $2,000, but the fine was later changed to a prison term as it was brought to the court's attention that he had violated his reporting condition for an offense he was on bail for. In more court news, 43-year-old Gibbs Daisy of Monrachet walked out of the magistrate court on Thursday, December 12, 2013, after receiving a $2,000 fine for a drug trafficking offense. On December 10, 2013, Daisy was charged for possession of cannabis and intent to supply 357 grams of the drug. He pleaded guilty to intent to supply that carried a higher penalty and not guilty to the possession charge. According to the facts of the case, police had executed a search warrant on the premises of the defendant. During the search, police discovered a brown backpack with a black plastic bag inside with what appeared to be cannabis. No other illegal substance was found inside the house. However, as police continued their search, another plastic bag containing what appeared to be cannabis was found in a crab cage outside the house. The substance later tested positive for cannabis, 8 grams from the backpack and 349 grams from the crab cage. The street value of the drugs is estimated at $825. Daisy's attorney Zina Dyer, who mitigated on his behalf, said the defendant was the father of 5 and was responsible for the welfare of all his children. She explained that her client, who is a first-time offender, is not a person who involves himself in criminal activity. However, because of the bad company he keeps, it may have resulted in him appearing before the court and now facing a drug trafficking charge. Magistrate Judge reprimanded the defendant, reminding him that he was no longer a teenager, but rather a grown man who should have enough sense to know right from wrong. The $2,000 fine is to be paid by 31st March 2014, or in default he'll be sent to prison for 4 months. The possession charge was withdrawn. This has been the local segment of the news. Coming up next, regional highlights.